Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another tutorial. So today I will be introducing you guys to the div element. So the div element basically just helps us like define a block of space on our page, and it just helps us organize our page to house different elements. So let me just show you guys what a div is first of all. So we define a div using a div tag, since that spells div. And then let me just give it an ID of full screen and just style it a bit to show you what a div actually looks like. So once I finish styling this, you guys will see what I mean by just a block of space. So let me give it a background color of maybe blue for now. And then I need to give it a height. I can just give it a height of anything I want. And then a width also. And now once I reload it, you guys will see that this is the div I just created. It's just a block of space which I've given a background color of blue for now. So this is what a div is. And it helps us, although it seems really simple, it basically allows us to create complex things. So let's say that I wanted to create this outline of the American flag. I will basically be able to do this using a bunch of divs. So I'll have one div for the entire flag as the parent div. Then I'll make two divs, one for the top part, then one for the bottom part. Then in the top part, I will have two divs, one for the top left, one for the top right. Then in the top right, I will have a bunch of divs for these different lines. And then same in the bottom, I will have a bunch of divs for these different lines. So let's get started. So let me define the full screen to encompass the full screen. So the height should be around 800 pixels, I'm guessing. And the width should be around 1400 pixels. So that looks pretty good. Maybe we can increase the width a bit. And that looks pretty good. So this is our parent div, this black block of space. Now we will house our two other divs inside of it. So we will basically house a top div and a bottom div. So we basically have to write that inside of our div between the opening and closing tag. So I can make another div right here. Give it an ID of top, and then I can make another div at the same level and give this an ID of bottom. Now let me just style them so it becomes clear what I'm trying to do here. So since there are IDs, I have to put a hashtag before them, and I can write top, and similarly I can also write bottom. And now I want them to be equal sizes and take up half of the parent div size. So first of all, let me just give it a background color to distinguish it from the bottom div. Right now I can just give it maybe crimson. And then let me give it a height that is half of the parent divs. So the parent div's height is 800, so this is 400. So 400 pixels. And then the width, I want it to be full screen. I want the width to be that of the complete parent div, so 1425 pixels. And then I can just copy and paste this for the bottom div, except I need to give it a different color to distinguish the two. So maybe I can just give it like a greenish color. So if I reload it, you guys can see that I have my two divs. This is my parent div. This is my top div, has a color of crimson. This is my bottom div that has a greenish color right here. So now I have successfully sorted my screen into two different divs. I have a top one and a bottom one. Now for the top one, let me try to divide it into two other divs. So a top left and a top right. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have to go into our top div right here and make two new divs inside of it. So I can make a div here with an ID of top left. There we go. And then I can make another div with an ID of top right. So there we go. Now I need to style them to be able to show you that it works. So top left right there, and make another one top right. So right now, let me give them two different background colors to distinguish the two. So maybe cyan for the left one, and maybe dark green for the right one. Now let me just give them a height that is maybe not the entire height for now. Let me just give it like maybe 100 pixels each. So like that. And if I reload it, you guys can see that I have two divs right here. The top left div is actually on top of the top right div. And I don't want that. I want them to be left and right. So something I can do is, first of all, I can give it a width that is half of the entire screens. So around like 712.5 pixels. Same for this one. So width of 712.5 pixels. This is basically half of the width of the parent div, which is hashtag top. Now, let's see what happens. So if I do that, they both have reduced their width. Now, if I want them to be side by side, I have to use a property that is known as float. So I want the top left div to float to the left. So I can just make it float to the left like this. Then I have to put a semicolon, obviously, and then I have to make the top right div float to the right. So I can do that. Now, once I reload it, you guys can see that I have my top left on the left, top right on the right. Now, if I want to increase the height, which I do, and I want to make it the same height as the top div, I can give each of them a height of 400 pixels. And if I reload it, that looks good. So now I have my two top left and top right divs created. Let me change the color of my top left div to the color of the flag. So it looks something like, it's kind of like dark blue, if I'm not wrong. So if I reload it, if I go to my screen and reload it, that looks a bit too dark actually. So let me just experiment a bit with the color. Maybe make it a bit lighter to look a bit more blue. And then if I reload my screen, I can see that it looks pretty good compared to this image. Now what I have to actually do is make a bunch of divs to be able to create these red and white stripes. So I have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total divs. So 4 red and 3 white ones. And I can actually utilize a class for this, since I have 3 stripes that have to be the same and 4 other red ones that have to be the same. So I can actually use a class instead of having to make 7 different IDs. So that goes in the top right div. So I put it between the 2 tags for the top right. Now I do have to create 7 divs, fortunately. So I can make 7 ones right here. First, let me make a div with a class for, I can call it TR, standing for top right. And then, what is the first one? Red. So TR red, symbolizing top right red. Then I can make another class for TR white, symbolizing top right white. So there we go. TR dash white. Now I need to paste the red one 4 times and the white one 3 times. So there we have it. The red one once, twice, 2 times. Then I make the white one appear 2 more times between the reds. So 1 there and 1 there. Now I just have to style them. So I have to go back here. And now since it's a class, I can't use a hashtag. I have to use a dot. So I use dot tr-red, tr-red. And now, so the background color is obviously red. So I can use maybe crimson for this. And then I want the height to be, so right now the height of my parent div is 400 pixels and I want 7 different ones. So that's about like 57 pixels each. So height is 57. The width needs to be 712.5 pixels. So the width of the parent div. And then dot tr white. I basically just give the same properties except I change the background color to white, which we can do simply. So to change the background color to white. Now if I reload my screen, hopefully we should see that it works. And there we have it. Works out perfectly. Now all we have to do is basically put this pattern on the bottom div. So now we have 3 white divs and 3 red divs. So 3 total, 6 total. So let's do that. So we have to go to the bottom div and then make 6 new divs. So div and then a class of, let's say, B for bottom, and then B dash white, and then B dash red. So we give it a class of B dash red. And so I need to make 3 of white and 3 of red. So I can do that. Right here. One should go there, and then one should be at the end. Now all that's left is for me to style them. So I can go ahead and do that here too. They are classes, so I have to use the dot once again. So dot be red. Now the background color is obviously red, as the name suggests, so I can make it crimson since it looks a bit nicer. Then the height is going to be the height of the bottom div, which I believe is 400 pixels. Then the width has to be the width of the entire screen. That is 1,400, or the parent div, not the entire screen. So 1,425 pixels. And that looks good. Now let me just copy it and make the bottom white div. So be white, and change the background color to white. There we have it. Now if I reload my screen, hopefully it should work. So if I reload it, oops. Oh, I gave each, I see my mistake. So I gave each div a height of 400 pixels. That's clearly too much. So the total height is 400 pixels, and I want to divide it to 6 pieces. So that's about 66 pixels each, if I'm not wrong. So 66. Now if I reload my screen, I think it should work. So there we have it. There is our first project made using divs. So if I compare this to a picture of the American flag, I think it looks pretty similar, pretty good. So this brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope you really enjoyed. I personally really enjoyed making this. I think it was really satisfying. So please like, subscribe, please comment down below if you have any questions for me. I would love to answer them. In the next tutorial, I will actually show you how we could simplify our process of styling this using a CSS concept known as flex. So that is what the next tutorial will be about, so watch out for that. And I hope you really enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Thank you.